everybody. I am Jeff Lund, and this is the Mediocre Alaskan Podcast, where we are intolerant of weak-minded attitudes that keep people from pursuing new and exciting things in the areas of fitness, outdoors, and general lifestyle. Speaking of new and exciting things in the areas of the outdoors specifically, I'm going to recap a story about last week's, I call it the poop buck, because I was caught in a very compromising situation. And all that's coming up. Episode 6, the Mediocre Alaskan Podcast. Here we go. So a good friend of mine said that all stories should be started with, so there I was. If it does not start like that, if you start with the qualifier like, oh, I have the best story or I have the funniest story, then automatically people don't want to hear it, you know? Just tell the story, start it with, so there I was, and let them make up their mind. So there I was, camping with my buddy Zach. Woke up pretty early in the morning, pre-dawn. There was a little bit of snow that was, I don't know, it was more like a hail that had kind of coagulated a little bit on the tent. Got out, jet boil, got warm, started walking up this like old road. And I'm always a little bit hesitant. You know, you think hey, I want to get back to this spot right for sunup because it seems like it'd be a great spot to see a deer. But the problem with that, of course, is that as you're making your way to that spot, you might see a deer when it's not light enough to shoot. So if you get one chance that day, you don't want it to be on your way to the spot you wanted to go to when it's too dark to shoot. Naturally, that is exactly what happened. I was looking at some alder trees right in front of us on the old reclaimed logging road. I saw some hooves, and I saw a neck, and I saw eyes and horns, and it was a nice buck, pretty tall rack. But I couldn't tell the difference between and the body. I couldn't tell the difference between tree and body, and I didn't have a shot. A couple seconds passed, and it took off, and then saw another buck. It was a little fork. It was back in the edge of this muskeg. The back edge was about 70 yards away, and it was moving pretty slowly, but it was moving. And the entire body again was I couldn't see it. This one was totally covered by brush. So a 70-yard moving headshot is not a Jeff Lund shot, so I didn't take that one. So I'm two deer into the day, haven't got a shot off. Zach had issues with packing, so he was unable. I'll just put it like that. So he was unable to hunt. Saw a third buck, just a little spike. Before I could get anything going there, it was like from back behind a tree. And so you start to get that sort of confidence that, hey, man, this is crazy. It's one of those days. But you know at some point you're going to stop seeing bucks. It can't keep moving like that indefinitely where you're seeing bucks every 10 minutes. So sun totally rose. Sat for a little bit, walked for a little bit, and then decided to kind of crunch through the muskeg to the back side of the muskeg. The previous week I'd seen no deer activity at all, but I'd found this nice little trail. The muskeg that we were hunting, the easiest spot to hunt it was from the opposite side, and last week I went to the really brushy side. It's kind of like in deer territory, and I saw that there's a nice trail. It's right on the edge of some timber that's pretty deep, and so the bucks can really get back in there. The deer can get back in there and kind of hide for the day. So rather than just do the easy thing for the hunters, I figured I'd get back to maybe where the deer might be during the day. Problem is, it's real loud to get back there. So Zach and I were obviously loud getting back there, but got back to the timber, sat for a little bit. Lost all hope, of course, and then I crossed a little creek, went up the backside, and there was a little muskeg there. I walked around, just no hope again. Get back to where Zach is, and I just sit down there for a little bit, not really thinking about anything. I decided to take a dump, and I grabbed the wet wipes, go to the other side of this massive cedar tree, and I'm about halfway through with the business, and I look up this incline that's really, really brushy, but there's a little hole in that, and that is right where the clearing is for that muskeg that I was on the opposite side of in the morning. And I see what looks like horns, and the horns move, and I thought, dude, I've been spending so muup time, and now I have a chance to maybe shoot because this thing isn't moving much, and I don't have my rifle with me. So I pull up my pants as quick as I can, go behind the tree, grab the rifle. I guess I I meant to say, Zach, there's a buck, but apparently I just said I didn't even wipe. So in my head, the conversation had gone somewhere, or there was other pertinent material information that was not given to Zach. So get my rifle, get on the other side of the tree. Look, I don't see the horns. I didn't really kind of hear that heavy bounding of anything that's running away. So I worked my way kind of to the right of where I saw it, hoping that it'd be on that edge. Just try to work through the brush, super thick, making some noise for sure. And then I look up and I do see that white patch of the chest. It's looking right at me. Can't really see the top of the head because I'm not really so I'm not sure if it's a doe that's been following that buck or what. Lean down a little bit and I see that it's definitely a buck. I have to move a little bit more, make some more noise because I have no clear shot through the brush. So I'm working closer to the clearing, maybe 25 yards at this point. One last little spot that I can kind of go up toward a tree that's right on the edge, and there's some bushes, but I might be able to have a shot. So I get up to that spot, and the thing is just staring right at me. So it knows that something is there for sure, but not really sure what it is. And there's a little bit of an opening, and I see it's a nice buck, and I put the barrel of my rifle. The only real opening is if it's right on the trunk of the tree, so it's a small little tree. And I put it there, and I take the shot, drop the buck, and just crazy. I went crazy. It's one of those. If you see a buck in the alpine, you make your move. It's kind of an expected result. You know, if you're in rut and you're calling something in, you have a lot of juice, man, you're so excited. But, having zero hope and defecating and then seeing the buck, that is something unlike anything I've ever experienced. I'm not exactly sure that it makes me a great hunter. In fact, I'm pretty sure it doesn't qualify me as a good hunter, but a lucky one. You know, you spend enough time out in the woods, sometimes you get lucky. You get to live that story, and you get to say, so there I was once. There it is. That's the story. I'll take it, I'll take it for sure. Next thing here, got the notification from the Department of Fish and Game about the big game permit draw hunts that open on November 1st and closes next month. So it's the time of year to kind of do your shopping, maybe for next year, put in for the tags for those elite animals and those really cool spots. Got me thinking about what I'm going to put in for next year. 2 years ago, I put in for the elk hunt on Edelin Island. That's the DE 321 and 323. Chartered a plane from RDM in Ketchikan, got dropped off. The weather was unbelievable. October can really be a month that's pretty awful up here, but got flown into a lake. We camped there for 5 nights, I believe. Did not see an elk. Saw one bear and saw some squirrels. That was about it. The weather had been pretty bad leading up to that. I really don't know a whole lot. I'm going to try to get some people on here that know a lot about the elk hunt, especially as it gets closer to next year. But some people swear by getting up into the alpine, even if it is October, and other people are, just start at the shore and then just work your way up. So if you get flown into the alpine and then you go down into the timber, you got to hike it all back up and out and then get flown out. And if you go from the shore, maybe you see the herd on the shore, maybe you hike way up, but either way, you got to pack out the meat. So a lot of different people have different methods to hunting Edelin. I am not a super reputable source outside of the fact that I have been there, I've camped there, and I can say that all the modifiers that have been used to describe how horrible the hiking can be on Edelin, I can absolutely verify or attest to. You look at some parts of it on a topograph, and it doesn't look too bad. It looks like it's pretty smooth or pretty, maybe kind of steep, but fairly consistent. But sometimes you get all of the change on the contour in a very short period of time. So it looks like somewhat gentle slope is actually a total cliff that just flattens out at the bottom. So it's pretty hairy. And of course you don't have nice trails that have been made by the Forest Service or hunters or anybody. So some people have cut trails apparently from the ocean. But beautiful time, just so much fun. Beautiful island for sure. Got flown in, saw nothing. Got flown out, all good. So drew the tag, did the hunt, did not come back successful, which is fine. Last year I was looking at the statistics, and it looked like a couple people who actually drew the hunt did not make the hunt, which is kind of too bad. Hopefully, they had a good reason. Some people really want that elk hunt, and some people put in for it, not necessarily maybe expecting to get it, and so they can't do it for the time that they drew. But you always want people to be able to maybe hunt. Yeah, probably better for the elk if there's less pressure and the people can't do the hunt. So maybe I shouldn't be sad or feeling that it's unfortunate people drew the tag but didn't do the hunt. Or maybe they just drew the tag, didn't do the hunt, or did the hunt and didn't report it. I don't know. The other hunt that I'm looking at for sure, and I'll put in for, is the Unit 1 goat on Revilla. It's the DG005, DG006, and the DG007. It's as close to a slam dunk for a goat as you can get, but there's very, very few permits given. It's on the island, pretty close to Ketchikan, so it's easy to get up there. But because of the scarcity, like I said, of the permits, it's pretty tough to get up there. A lot of people go up there and they do the hikes, and you see there's just mountain goats everywhere. But it's hard to get that tag. And but it's a good hunt. Good. It's tough without question. It's nicer than Edelin, but not by a whole lot, and mostly just because there's trails that lead up to where the goats are going to be. But then once you're up there, the goats are in such unbelievable territory. They're on those sheer rock cliffs, and it's almost like they look at you and they say, "Yeah, I know that you're looking at me, and you could probably shoot me, but then what? What are you going to do about it, guy? You and your rifle and your camo." Me and my white fur, which stands out against these gray rocks. What are you going to do about it? That's what I thought. And then you walk away, and it's over. But
after years of fine print contracts and getting ripped off by big wireless providers, if we've learned anything, it's that there's always a catch. So when I first heard that Mint Mobile offers premium wireless starting at just $15 a month, I thought, what's the catch? But after talking to them and using their service, it all made sense. There isn't one. Mint Mobile's secret sauce is that they're the first company to sell wireless service online only. They cut out the cost of retail stores and pass those sweet savings directly to you. For anyone who hates their phone bill, Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for just $15 a month. I was hesitant about having to get a new phone and a new phone number, but with Mint, you can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your same phone and your same phone number along with all of your existing contacts. Mint Mobile gives you the best rate whether you're buying for one or for a family, and at Mint, families start at 2 lines. All plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Switch to Mint Mobile and get premium wireless service starting at just $15 a month. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and to get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/waypoint. That is mintmobile.com/waypoint. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/waypoint.
So I think I'll probably just go with the goat hunt, maybe the Edelin elk hunt. There are some other hunts up north that some friends of mine have been trying to get me to go on. There's always the grizzly bear opportunity. I'm not totally sold on the grizz, man. I got a black bear, but the grizz is just a different program. Yeah, I can't imagine being close enough to shoot one of those. People shoot those with bows. That's insane. Absolutely insane. Getting that close to a grizzly bear and shooting it with a bow. The Kodiak Island always has definitely intrigued me for sure. Definitely for their blacktail as well as some of the other stuff that they have there. A Fognac Island for elk has been cool. There's a permit for that. I think it's the DE 711s through the 713s. If I did a little bit of research and wrote some stuff down, see if that one's is right there. But and then Kodiak deer, man. I guess the deer hunting on Kodiak Island is really good. So that'd be a good place to maybe go. So shoot, one of these years going out to the Aleutian Islands, just seeing what that's all about for caribou, or going up into the mainland, up into the tundra and looking for caribou. I think it'd be a great time. I mean, you live in an island I live in a state that's so big and offers so much game, but it's just so hard to get around to. You're looking at the logistics of getting up there, through Alaska Airlines, and then how are you going to get flown out to where you're going to be? Are you going to float down? Are you going to camp? Are you going to get flown in? There's so many things to deal with. So if you do draw the tag, you're in it for a couple grand at least. You get a lot of meat for sure, and you get an unbelievable experience. But those are the things that you got to kind of look at when you're doing those. So one of the other things, obviously, you got to look at too is if that hunt requires a guide if you're a non-resident. So I know I got some buddies from California there to listen to this. They came up last year for black bear. They tried for the tag on Prince of Wales Unit 2. Did not get a non-guided, non-resident tag, which you can get for black bear. Most other spots, I think if not all other spots, do require a guide for anything bigger than a black bear. So yeah, check the book, man. I'm just a guy talking here. So they did not get the Unit 2 non-resident, non-guided hunt, and so they came to Unit 1, which is here in Ketchikan, and we all went on a hunt. They got their 2 black bears, and I was about to shoot one, but I decided not to. There's plenty around. But speaking of plenty around, the Unit 2 is kind of an interesting thing here. It got a really good reputation in the early 2000s. I remember reading magazine articles, national magazine articles about Prince of Wales, my homeland, about how good the black bear hunting was and how big the black bears were. And so it kind of had an influx of people coming to the island to hunt. I don't know a whole lot of residents of Prince of Wales that hunt black bear. They kind of have done their one, but they don't go in year out for it because the spring meat's pretty good, but they tend to have a reputation for being kind of stinky and big. And if you're going to talk about meat, you just want to go for a blacktail. Like, why would you go for a black bear? So it's a real interesting predator prey thing going on there with it becoming a little bit more difficult for non-residents to hunt Prince of Wales, which was, a good predator-prey balancer by having people want to come up. And then the wolves. It's been an absolutely crazy 5-10 years with at least that I've really been paying attention to it, to protecting wolves on Prince of Wales. You have a lot of people down south that are applying down south logic to wolf habitat and wolf populations. They know and understand wolves, to being almost eradicated or extinct because of overhunting. But that's in areas in which it's all been, gridded out either with national forest or ranches or this or that. Prince of Wales it's the 3rd largest island in the U.S. and it's totally wild. And so I think the perception is that wolf trappers and wolf hunters are trying to totally exterminate them. And once the numbers get low, there's no chance for them to recover. Which was proved not to be the case because 3 years ago, the amount that you could hunt or trap was dramatically reduced. wolf population estimates were below 100, and now the estimations are near 300. So in just a few years, the population has tripled, which just goes to show, A, the unbelievable habitat of Prince of Wales Island, B, how the wolf population can absolutely recover, and how this is not, Montana. This is not Wyoming. This is not California. The wolves look so majestic and so regal and so beautiful on those commercials and on those stamps or on those brochures or on those whatever, but just to see what they do to beautiful deer. And that deer's a food source, people make comments about, deer should be, or wolves should be protected, not harvested. Well, what happens if there was something that was eating all of the organic free-range chicken or whatever it is that you eat from your grocery store? If something was in there killing that and eating that, would you not want someone to go in there and do something about it? A lot of Alaskans on Prince of Wales Island live the subsistence lifestyle and depend on deer meat as one of their main food sources. I know some people who eat only deer and fish for the entire year. But it's really unfair. It's unfortunate that you see people with that down south logic trying to apply it to a place that they've never been, never seen, never experienced. It's a weird thing. I don't know how anybody's estimates can be really all that good. I went on a wolf hunt with a couple buddies for a magazine article, and just seeing how smart the things are. Digging out traps and dragging them without being sprung. Like, how does that? Crazy, just beyond me. I thought, how does anybody ever get a wolf? So there are methods that they've used to try to get accurate counts and to try to get an idea of how many packs, how many wolves, and it's just all theoretic. So I don't know. It's a weird thing there. Between the black bears and the wolves, there's a lot of predators and a lot of things that are looking after deer. There's not much else for them to eat on the island. A couple buddies of mine have seen pictures or have shown me pictures of or videos of black bear chasing down deer fawn, and there's been a lot more wolf kills, it seems like. Again, if you're looking for more wolf kills, maybe it'll seem like there are more wolf kills, so I got to use that as kind of a disclaimer. But I myself saw more wolves this last summer than I think I ever have. I hardly ever see wolves, but I heard them, saw them, and I don't know what that's an indication of, seeing them on the side of the road. If that's, I don't know what that means. To me, it would maybe mean that because there's a lot of doe and fawns there, they would be there, and even though they don't like being around people or being near cars or anything like that, if that's where the food is, then that's where we're going to go. I don't know. I'm not a biologist. I'm not a trained professional. I am simply someone who spends 2.5 months on Prince of Wales Island and talks to people who live there year-round. Interesting developments there for sure. So anyway, that is the end of episode 6 of the Mediocre Alaskan podcast. Make sure you go to themediocrealaskan.com for other content and all the other podcasts. You can also go see listen to the Mediocre Alaskan podcast. It's available on iTunes. Make sure you check it out, download it, subscribe to it, give a favorable rating, and of course, tell your friends. Excited for some other stuff coming up. We're going to talk a little bit of winter wellness in Ketchikan as it gets cold and dark. And, of course, more hunting, and more fishing. I'm getting excited for steelhead season. It's right around the corner. Have a great weekend. We will talk to you next time.